We want everyone's view on whether you're a buyer or you're a seller of the myth or the perception that has been built in the off season. We start with Hopper and Taranto at Richmond have been the most talked about duo in the competition. I'm a cynic, as is Kane. Lordo's a buyer on it big time, but you're the strongest here, Caro, on this. You think it'll work?
I think Gawn and Grundy are more talked about than those two, but you can't put in two elite midfielders into Richmond's team where they really struggled last year and not be a buyer on that improving their midfield.
Lordo's on board with that too.
Caro, yeah.
And the
two quality players.
No grand final hangover for the Swans. Do you think there'll be a hangover, buy or sell? So I'm a buyer. We're all buyers on the Swans, it looks like, and Lordo, you're particularly strong on their prospects.
I just think that a lot of teams are spooked and never recovered from a belting like you get in grand finals. I know Kane spoke about it with his side at Port Adelaide. But when you've got Warner, Mills, Heaney, Blakey, McInerney, Goulden, Tom McCartan, Rowbottom, McDonald, Campbell, the list goes on. They're probably ahead of their time, and I think they'll have another strong year. The
youth policy at the Hawks, Sam Mitchell's pitched his wagon to it. Caro and Lordo not sold. Kane and myself are on board. I'll overgo this. I think it was bold. It was courageous. It was selfless. I think it's the best, it's the fastest way home, and I think it'll work.
It's not selfless in your second year because you're still in the honeymoon period. I think they've cut too deep.
I'm a buyer, you're not sold yet, Lordo. The Gawn-Grundy, as they're calling it, Gawn-Grundy, will it be as big a deal as everyone says? Lordo's on a hole,
Matthew.
sitting on the fence.
No, I'm holding Caro because Brody Grundy will have to play a lot of forward time, and at times he'll be a liability in the forward line. So
hold's not an option.
I think no. I asked, could I be at a hold to this one? Because I think with Tom McDonald, Ben Brown, and Brody Grundy, do you think that's going to be a forward line that's going to work?
The only thing I would say is he's a better player than Luke Jackson. So he comes in and plays a similar role, and it gives Gawn some flexibility. So I think it's an upgrade on Jackson.
Yeah, but he can't cover the ground like Jackson.
Can the Cats go back to back? This is a fascinating part of the season. I'm a buy-ish. Kane's a buy. And Caro and Lordo are sitting.
You don't buy-ish is like holding. Yeah. You buy or you sell.
What do you think, Caro? You're a sell?
I think they were wonderful last year, but I don't think they can go back to back. I just think the old are going to be too old, and those magnificent young players will have a bit of a step back. No, I just don't think they'll win it again.
West Coast to chips.
I think they'll finish top four though.
West Coast to chips in on the older players being able to turn things around with big pre-seasons. No one here is buying it, Kane.
No, let's turn up the heat on West Coast. 2 wins. Disgraceful last year. They let their standards slip. Their senior players, Hearn, Gaff, Yowie, McGovern, Nat Nui, Cripps, the list goes on, all underperformed. They'd want to turn up round 1 and win.